it's on the under a tree, they make it adapt to that nature and to the
So when you are actually into designing and when you're talking about it, when you're actually viewing a sustainable building, what is more important for you?
See,
the key feature for you?
Key feature is it should be climate sensitive.
Okay.
We should have proper light and ventilation. This is the basic thing.
Right.
We shouldn't disturb the topography and the vegetation.
Right.
It should be go with the topography and vegetation. Once you play with nature, that's safe. Use the nature. If you misuse something, chalega. Accept it. But don't abuse it. If you abuse it, then everything is gone.
The damage has to be as minimal as possible.
You have to face and waste into the
And with that, I'd like to bring in Ms. Mosmi Nanda in here. When we're talking about sustainability, how sustainable is sustainability, in terms of what we're designing today? How sustainable will that be, say, 20 years down the line or, 50 years down the line? And how do we really, when it could be sustainable now, but when we're talking about years down the line, how sustainable does it actually get for us?
Yeah, if we talk about the sustainability in the historical context, local materials were the prime importance. They didn't get the materials outside, got the materials outside from the country or their state, because transport was a factor. So whatever local material they used, that itself could bring about what sustainability they had in their mind, concept they had in their mind. So today, in today's world, if we make any building sustainable, but if we bring those materials from any other country, that is not sustainability. That doesn't give the concept of sustainability, because transportation is a factor over there. Actually, sustainability gives you, guides you in three factors. It's economy, it's environment, and its society. Those three factors, if we consider, automatically our design will be sustainably friendly. Yeah. I will just share one thing over here, like what Mr. Beuria said. I'm agreed upon him that in one of the statement in a seminar which was held by UNDP, under UNDP, around in 2011, that the population growth which is happening today, in that rate, if it is growing, in 2050, the growth will be so much that the fossil emission, the fossil fuels, the minerals, the whatever resources we have, that will be, the consumption will be around 3 times what we are consuming today. And mostly these are done by the developed countries only. So this is the idea they have in their mind, that the idea is actually formulated from them. And we are behind them. Our country, our state, our city, we have sustainable character in our building. See the buildings in Bhubaneswar context. See the building which Ravindra Mandap we have in Bhubaneswar. We see the building of the state archives, the state library built long back. They are being built with with this concept in mind, and today they are very, very good in sustaining those ideas. So we are into the theme, but it is the developed countries who are actually forcing us to use this idea. It is obviously a good concept, but it is my idea which I want to share with you.
Thank you so much. And we'll take it forward with Mr. Mahapatra. I would like to understand, as Sir just mentioned very rightly, that it could be, when you're talking about just a 2-story building, it is more easier to be sustainable. When we're talking about big, huge commercial projects, how do you think, and how cost effective, and how really is sustainability implemented there?
From my point of view, it's good enough to move ahead with local materials, available materials, and going ahead with cheaper manpower also, just to reduce the cost. And even we can also go ahead with cost-effective materials to reduce the cost of the building. That's all.
Well, with that, I'll be back with Mr. Patnaik. Of course, we've still not heard your views, and we want you to bring in into the panel, understanding your views on sustainability. And since I've just read your profile, it talks more of techno homes. How do you really bring in sustainability with that?
Okay, good evening. Can you please tell me what is going on actually? Why Nerolac search this kind of information? Do you understand what they say?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, what is the relation between Nerolac and other Vastu factors?
No, in terms of course, when you talk about Vastu, there are times when we say that, okay, this particular color, like when you talk about a red color, we say, it should not be into the bedroom, it's pretty bright and things like that. And when you're talking about sustainability and Nerolac, we've just talked about VOC and lead-free paints. Of course, there have been paints which are there and, which give you much better weather inside or better temperature inside.
Okay.
So,
What we supposed to discuss?
we talk
Regarding Vastu Shastra, regarding any kind of metal other than Nerolac?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me say one thing. What is Nerolac? Can you explain?
What is Nerolac as well?
Can you explain?
Why are you asking me that?
The best point is why we are discussing about Vastu Shastra, sustainable and other products, low cost products or high class products. Why not Nerolac? What is the base of this
Because
discussion?
here it's not about Nerolac, it's about their entire initiative.
Exactly.
To us,
exactly.
it's about their
I am
initiative.
little bit confused. Why Nerolac taking this information from our side?
Because you really play a very important and key role. When it comes to today, we're talking about a developing nation, we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about architect, which surely does comprise to a
Then
lot
tell
of-
me,
Yes.
what is the relation between green and Nerolac?
That initiative that they're trying to go ahead with. So,
Explain technically.
which is why you are here, sir.
We are also.
Which is why we've got technical people like you. Which is why we want you to talk about.
Whatever may be. But we are also a student. Okay. So can you teach us what is the relation between green and Nerolac?
Which is why I said this is the reason when we're talking about green and we're talking about Nerolac, it's about people who really, actually go out and play a very important role. So I think probably you don't have anything to talk on that. We're just asking you that when you talk about techno homes, how do you really bring in sustainability there?
Let me explain. I think, do you think the discussions is related to Nerolac? Anybody agree with me?
Yes. Carry on.
Is it required for discussion about Nerolac configurations?
So well, anyway, choice. I would like to bring in Mr. Beoria here, and we want to know from you, sir, that when we're talking about policies, how do these policies actually go ahead and have a big effect on sustainability, and how important these policies, are for us? Do they really contribute to green buildings?
Okay, what I wanted to tell you, in fact, sustainability has to be taught when the, like you are building more and more. If you are building very less, the impact on environment is also very less. For the example, if many of you are aware, what certain energy component is there, then you have to work. For working, you have to go to office, you have to depend on some transport. So these two factors constitute 70% of world energy consumption. So it is very important. So either you will have to reduce on your, like energy that your houses will be constituted of, or you have to reduce on your transportation energy. If you reduce this 70% of energy, then I think all your energy problem is done. For India, we do not have any fuel, right? We import everything from outside. And for every day, I burn at least 5 liters of petrol for going to office, coming back from office, and going around. So people like me also are burning lot of fuels, right? So you will have to now plan and design cities which can be called walkable cities, cycling cities, it can be called whistling cities, in the sense like you blow your whistle, it should be heard by the extreme farmer. We'll have to do that. You look at Copenhagen, now 80% people in Copenhagen, they go by bicycle. Because they can afford to go by bicycle. I stay in one place, my office is 10 kilometers away from my residence. How do I go in a bicycle? It's not possible. So that is what I am trying to tell. It is the biggest challenge for the planners, urban designers, how to make cities sustainable. Making an individual house sustainable is very easy. If I am making a 2-story building, let's not bother about a terrace garden, because all around your building you have a garden. If you are building more 10-story building, 12-story building, so there you may think of your energy consumption and what you are doing and how you are doing. So please concentrate, please think on how we can make our cities more energy friendly. You are building huge roads, no greenery is there. Your roads are there. These roads, they reflect a lot of sunlight. So you'll have to plan. When Bhubaneswar CTP was planned by IIT Kharagpur, they were giving us a presentation. I told them, first now we have got tools available to see how your master plan is going to look like, whether it is a sustainable master plan. They told that is not part of our agenda. See, if sustainability is not addressed in that level, then the problem is not going to be solved.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to bring in Mr. Gada. As Mr. Beoria just talked about, that it is important that you have cities that are more sustainable. And what are your views, and how can we really go out and what are the points to be taken into consideration when we are moving towards a development, completely getting urbanized, and how do we bring in sustainability here?
I agree with him. In fact, that is what my concern was, that the sustainable should be in mind and our living should be sustainable. Our entire approach towards anything, I mean, it is not related to building only. It is anything, what he said rightly, it is the planning of everything. It is not only building which matters, it is everything which matters, like the water conservation or the distances or overall approach towards it. Now, what happened that our India is fortunately having ample sunlight. And we do not want such kind of glass building which is overall in all over the world. And then we are making that sellable kind of thing, and then we are trying to sell. So that is one of the approach which we need to change. Now, though clients is needed this kind of things to sell, but then as a planner we should do something which should be something which is midway. Or sometime recently I came across one Gopal Krishnan person who is from Bangalore, and we have attended one IGBC seminar recently, and Gopal Krishnan is a developer from Bangalore, and he has actually made sustainable into practice. Now, as an architect, it is certain role of ourselves, but as a developer, there is a big role of person who is actually adopting, people who are adopting. So Gopal Krishnan, he has made sustainable into practice, and they have made one recent residential campus of 76 bungalow, and they have not taken a single grid from corporation nor water. They have designed this net zero campus, which is actually producing energy by solar, by themselves. They have adopted lots of material which is such, which is required less energy. They have actually made entire groundwater water system and recycling system in a way that they are using their own water. So actually their next project, his next project's planning is to make the building which is net plus building, which can even give or the things which is they can produce and they can sell to others. So I think my request is to Nerulak, this fellow we came across recently. And in entire this one-day workshop, that was the person who has actually got maximum uploads from everyone, cause they have made it to practice. And I think one has to understand, and I'm sure, though we are talking plus and minus, but since the needs is increasing day by day, the population is not in our control, and in future we need bigger and bigger structures, is because to serve everyone. So to look into that particular picture, one has to adopt wherever smallest thing is possible to save single watts of energy or anything, because it should be as a designer. And of course we have to actually have good control over the developer by our logics. That see, we cannot just think about the sellable things or just not only aesthetic, which is important. And one more thing which is going on recently, that many of the buildings, they are getting ratings at planning level, on 3D level. Then they are getting ratings, they are getting award for that. Then they are actually marketing that buildings on that particular rating, and that at the end of the project, God knows what is happening. So this is one of the things which is very dangerous, and I think as an awareness what we can create, we can try to adopt this, or we can try to oppose this kind of practice which is not very true. I am not saying that everyone is doing like this, but many of them, I can tell you, because all of our practices come across like, okay यार ये class थोड़ा है ना 20 रुपए में सस्ते में पड़ रहा है per square feet. And if you can think about that entire, that cost us 25 lakh rupees. So you know that this cut corner starts at micro level, and ultimately we are not ending up with something which is really good. So I think this is to be taught. I sorry to say this thing, but awareness has been built because of this kind of seminar, and we should actually take it positively in a way, whatever, because there are many students who are coming across, there are many practice what we are doing. Many of the times we are not aware with what we are doing. So I think we should keep on adopting whatever is right and wrong. We can analyze by ourselves that whether this is right or wrong, and then we can try to adopt by ourselves everything which is green.
Thank you, Mr. Gada. That was really nice hearing you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as he very rightly said, these are the kind of platforms where we try to bring in, such experiences here, such great like-minded people who can actually share their thoughts, their practices that they've been adopting over the years. For they sit here with a lot of enriching experience and actually share a lot of more that they have talking about sustainability. And about this wonderful seminar that we have today is only to make you more aware about these kind of practices and how they can actually be turned into a reality. Bringing in Mr. Guru here, so we've been talking about ratings. How do you think that ratings do, how important are they for you, and what are your views on ratings?
There are green building ratings, LED ratings, it's okay. But how many people are adapting this?
Absolutely.
Is it really people friendly? If you talk in percentage basis, the number of buildings built